This is the new Razer Barracuda X Chroma. It's a multi-platform gaming headset that aims for versatility with SmartSwitch dual wireless that lets you instantly switch between gaming and mobile modes. It also comes with a detachable microphone, up to 70 hours battery life, and 6-zone Razer Chroma RGB lighting. It looks like it could be a nice option for people that want something that can do double duty as a gaming headset and a set of everyday headphones at the same time. Inside the box, Razer gives you a nice setup guide. It explains all the different features and functions in detail. This little sleeve here has a few different things in it. First, we have the USB dongle for the 2.4 GHz wireless. It's USB-C, so it's really small. If you don't have any USB-C ports on your device, don't freak out, because they also give you this little USB-C to USB-A adapter. So you can plug the dongle in here and then it just plugs into your PC or whatever, just like any other regular USB-A device. This is your charging cable. It's USB Type-C on both ends, but again, you can use that adapter if you don't have any USB-C ports. These cables Razer's been including with their new headsets are amazing, by the way. They're really nice and high quality. And the last thing here is the microphone. It's on a flexi boom arm and it's got a pretty big windscreen or pop filter. There's a look at the actual mic with the filter off. And now for the headset. It comes in a black fabric pouch. You can keep that handy if you plan to travel with these and don't want them to get all scratched up. With any kind of wearable device that's supposed to be used regularly for long periods of time, the most important thing to consider is comfort, because if it's not comfortable, no one's going to want to use it. The headset on its own weighs about 285 grams, and if we put the mic on there, it adds about 10 more. It's a nice weight, it's not too heavy. Clamping force feels medium, but it needs to be if they want people to be able to use this on the go. If you're sitting around at home playing games, clamping force can be pretty low and it's not gonna matter. But for something you wanna wear while you're out doing stuff, maybe listening to some music while you're out shopping or exercising, you're gonna need more clamping force to keep the headset from moving around. I think Razer did a good job finding a balance of comfort, but with enough clamping force to keep it on your head in different situations. There's a lot of movement in the ear cups in all different directions. We got both tilt and some swivel, and yes, you can get them all the way into a lay flat position. Love that. Ear cups have plush memory foam cushions covered with some breathable fabric. If you watch my headset reviews before, then you know I love cloth ear cushions. I think they're way more comfortable than pleather. There's actually no cushioning on top of the drivers, it's just a really thin layer of fabric there. With the shallower depth on these, I can feel the tips of my ears just barely touching the inside of the drivers. It's not uncomfortable, but it is noticeable if I'm thinking about it or paying attention to it. And the inner side of the headband uses that same breathable cloth and memory foam. It's nice and cushiony, soft all the way around. Overall, it's a comfortable headset. Razer did a good job making sure that it stays comfortable when you're wearing it for long periods of time. The good news mostly continues with the build quality. It's all hard plastic with a nice solid feel to it. The headband arch has a steel core and it feels strong. We've got a good amount of adjustability with some nice hard stops, but there's no markings on there to help get both sides lined up. It's a small detail, but I find it useful and I do wish they put it on here. I can stretch this thing out like crazy without it feeling weak or worrying about anything cracking or coming loose. So the build quality is definitely there. Like, I feel confident enough that I could throw these into my laptop bag, travel around with them, and still have a working headset when I get wherever I'm going. All the controls are on the left ear cup. From the top, we have the mic mute button, volume control wheel, power button, USB-C charging port, and the SmartSwitch button. A double press of that button will instantly switch between 2.4 GHz wireless and Bluetooth, and it does let you know through the headset when you make that switch. So what this does is it lets you connect to two devices at the same time without having to move the dongle or change any settings. For example, you could be connected to your PC on 2.4 GHz wireless playing a game, double tap that smart switch, and then instantly switch over to the Bluetooth connection on your mobile device, whether that's your phone or tablet or whatever. It's that simple. All you really need to do is connect the headset to whatever device you plan to use it with, and you're good to go. We have a detachable microphone on here. It's really easy to plug in. There's a little notch on there that only lets it go in one way, so you can't screw it up. It's Razer's Hyperclear Cardioid mic. It uses a unidirectional pickup pattern, and it's got that typical gaming headset range of 100 to 10,000 hertz, and it does top out at 16-bit recording. What we have here with the Razer Barracuda X Chroma is a pretty good sounding wireless microphone. To be fair, it's still not as good as a dedicated desktop USB mic, but for an integrated microphone on a gaming headset that's wireless, it's clear, it doesn't sound too digital or unnatural. I'd say if you wanted to record your gameplay commentary or live stream with this, it would be perfectly usable. Now keep in mind, this is being recorded on my PC over the 2.4 GHz wireless connection. Let's see what happens when we switch over to Bluetooth. Now we're recording through Bluetooth, and right away you can tell there's a pretty big difference. And that makes perfect sense because Bluetooth has bandwidth limitations. So essentially what's happening here is we're losing some of that microphone quality because of the lower powered connection. But for phone calls, it's going to be fine, and that's really the only reason I'd ever be using this mic with my phone anyway. And that's also where the SmartSwitch feature really comes in. I can be gaming with 2.4 GHz wireless on my PC, and then I see a call shows up on my phone, double tap SmartSwitch, jump over to that Bluetooth connection, and I can take my call. It's a really nice feature to have. In terms of actually pushing out audio, we have Razer Triforce 40mm drivers with a standard frequency response of 20 to 20,000 Hz. I came into this review expecting good sound quality because Razer Triforce drivers usually sound pretty good. And yeah, that's exactly what we have here. It's a nice warm sound profile and it can get really loud if you crank the volume up. I mainly play first-person shooter games, so I tend to care a lot about how well I can hear directional sounds, but without having to use any weird, exaggerated profiles that sacrifice sound quality to enhance either the highs or the lows. And these deliver that. They sound good and provide enough detail to be able to tell where stuff's happening in the game. I can hear enemy footsteps, loot bins opening, and enemies reviving their teammates. All this stuff matters in FPS games like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, CSGO, and tons of others. In Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, you can really hear the city come to life. It's like there's so much going on with so many different sounds happening all around you at the same time in this game, and being able to hear that stuff really sucks you into the game, like it brings you in there. It's so immersive. Honestly, I always say this, good audio is just as important as good video or high frame rates. In terms of customization, you can jump into Synapse and play around with your volume settings, or come over here and open up the Windows sound properties. There's support for 7.1 virtual surround sound. That's not my thing. I prefer regular stereo audio over artificial digital effects any day. We have our mic settings. There's a volume slider over here, and we have side tone. That's gonna let you control how loud you can hear the mic through the headset. It's a very useful feature that I always use. In the lighting section, you can control the brightness, change what happens when the screen turns off or the system goes idle, and then there's 8 different chroma presets that you can select to quickly change up the lighting effects. Now if we jump back over to Bluetooth on my phone, we can launch the Razer Audio app. There's some basic settings here. Do Not Disturb is going to silence any calls from coming through the headset. We've got a game mode, and if we click on EQ, there's 3 presets in here. You've got music, game, and movie. Or we can pick custom, and that's gonna let us pick one of those presets and then play around with the settings to create our own custom EQ. For some reason, there's no EQ settings in Synapse. I think that's kind of weird. I don't know why we have it on mobile, but not on the PC software. But anyways, hopefully they add that in soon. And finally, we have some chroma settings to change up the lighting, but it's limited compared to what you get in Synapse. There's only 4 presets in here instead of the 8 that you can pick from on the PC. So final thoughts on the Barracuda X Chroma. I love it. It's got a solid build, tons of adjustment, it sounds great, and the microphone quality's up there for a wireless gaming headset. Plus, it's got that Chroma RGB. Say what you want about RGB on a headset, but you gotta admit it looks really good on here. For the price, I think Razer delivered a solid performing gaming headset that's also useful for some other stuff. Check the description for more details and information. I'll also have some purchasing links down there for you as well. Get subscribed, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll see you soon.